Hey Internet, what's going on? We're here to talk about the Fluval 3.0 fresh and plant. Not really even sure what they're calling this thing. It's the new version of the 2.0, which I have right back here. And do a little comparison of them, talk about them a little bit, and give you guys an idea of my experience with having utilized one of these so far. I did get this one about a month and a half ago. It was fully broken, and I fixed it. So it actually does work, and I have been able to play with it, see how well it works, what it does better than the 2.0, and just give it the old runaround and stuff. So we'll probably stay out of the scientific type stuff other than some of the light features and things. But this is just an overall experience of my use of utilizing this light and seeing how well it operates and stuff on a planted aquarium, which is the whole reason for getting it in the first place, right? And then hopefully you guys can make a decision on whether you want one or not. I'll post links down below if you want to click on those and go through and check it out and see if you maybe want to get one or something. But the first thing I want to talk about is actually the Fluval app that actually comes with this, and the reason why I find this to be so useful. Not only does it have a timer built into it, but it has full Wi-Fi control, which I can actually turn it on and off. Right now you can see it's on the night setting. You can turn the night setting on and off. It's pretty responsive. I mean, it's going through Wi-Fi, so it does take a second. It's like a millisecond or whatever, but it's pretty darn quick and turns on and off exactly when you want it to do. It has a whole bunch of settings in here that you can actually manually turn up and down. So there's the pink lights, right? Here's the blue all the way up. Then it has cold white. Then it has a pure white setting, right? And then it also has a warm white setting. Some of these settings are really useful for certain plants that you're trying to grow. If you're trying to propagate a little more flowering or leaf or stems or whatever you're trying to propagate, they come in pretty useful. I've found it to be mostly useful with almost everything just fully on, to be brutally honest with that. I have tweaked with it a little bit. I haven't had enough time to do a lot of independent experiments with these because, as I mentioned, I only have one and it's occupying one of the spots on my 240. So I haven't really set them up on independent tanks and gone oh, hey, does this one grow dwarf baby tears really well, or does this one grow high grow really well or something like that. I have not gone through that. I've basically been just utilizing this within my system. One of the big differences between the two is that the 2.0 is a 7000K. The new version 3 is a 6500K. I haven't seen a ton of difference between the two, whether they're one's growing more or less or anything like that. They both function really well. Although this, with the ability to set the lights to a more specific tone that you're looking for, could become very, very useful in propagating and growing certain plants that you're trying to go for. Also, you can set them to more of a look that you're going for. So maybe you have African cichlids or something like that, and you want the color tone to be more specific for taking video or photos or something along those lines that you want to have done. So you want your tank to look a certain way. It actually does make it really easy to do that. Like if I take the pure white out, it starts to look more like an Amazon biotope, whereas with me, like I said, I pretty much got everything just jacked up to full power because, why not? It's a high-tech setup. I'm gassing CO2. I'm doing all those things. Got all these rummy nose in here doing their stuff along with all the other fish. So I've had it up just about 100% most of the time. But one of the biggest things that I find to be a benefit as compared to the older ones is not only the legs, right? So the legs are built in, whereas on the older model, they're actually on the exterior, on the outside. Some people like them the other way. I happen to actually like them this way. This is a little bit nicer. The top here on the 2.0, the older version, has these fins on the top, whereas this one actually has a smooth one. I've compared the temperature between both of them. They both are really warm. If you, for instance, like lay your arm on them, you know, if you're escaping or something like that, it will kind of smoke your arm a little bit, you know. But they do get warm. They do make a little bit of heat, but the heat is all directed in the upward direction. It's not, you know, going down. I've actually been having them sit directly on the acrylic, and it's not hot enough to really do anything to the acrylic. I've even utilized a infrared temperature gun to see, you know, if it was really warming it up to any kind of weird temperature. Overall, I'm very impressed with the performance. Everything on it works the way that they say it's going to work. You know, the Wi-Fi works. The included timer is super awesome, and it's fantastic to be able to have the sunrise and sunset feature, which you can actually put in. You can actually have it ramp up over the longest amount of time. However, you can have it ramp up for 24 hours and then suddenly turn off. So you can actually just dial in a sunrise and sunset setting, and the timer is actually built into the light, which is awesome because that makes my life way easier, and it's built into the Wi-Fi. So you can turn this light on, you can turn this light off from the Wi-Fi, which is hugely awesome, and I really appreciate the idea that someday I might be able to get these lights and have them all running and then be able to control them all from my phone. Those of you that have been following my channel for a long time know I've been having issues with my Wi-Fi controllers, and I will say that the Fluval one does work quite well, and it does save your settings. So it doesn't have to be enmeshed in a network or anything like that. It actually is just working independently, and will keep track of what you set it to, which I think is fantastic. That one, obviously, the 2.0, I have to manually turn off. But I will say this, that the value on this, I feel like, is there. The price is pretty comparable to the 2.0, and you're essentially getting the Wi-Fi controller and the light, the ability to control whatever light spectrum you want to have on or off. And I think that's a big deal. Even if it is on Wi-Fi, you still can hit the button and turn it on, and it does work fantastically. Like I said, I've been utilizing it on my 240 here. I'll post some links down below. Check it out if you like. If you don't, that's totally cool too. Otherwise, I'll be hollering at you later. Later?